So everyone, there's a mix of people. Some people aren't even licensed yet. So I'm like, is it too much? You know.
Are you just starting the marketing?
We're doing basics. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just doing marketing
There you go.
basics.
If you like have time at the end, you can touch on it, but I wouldn't.
I don't think so. Okay. Thanks,
Should
buddy.
be a little smoother today.
Well, you didn't even also. Oh, I'm ready. I understand how everything fits together. Fine.
Well, and
get it.
I was able to get that already set up.
Yeah, so this is already set up. Yeah, we're way better. We're way more on track.
And I noticed when I did like the, whatever I did,
Mm-hmm.
it has your little notes over there.
Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. If you go in my email, there's an offer on 29th, no, Newcastle.
And we do have a
It's
sign
not
up for
good.
everybody, if you haven't seen
Will
it
you
yet.
email it? I told Stacey I'd email it to her. Will you just email it to her? Yeah. And then, I mean, I guess you could do an $100 breakdown, but I mean, it's really low. So she's, yeah. Okay. That's all. Cool. Thanks, buddy. All right, guys. I think that clock says 10:01, but my watch says it's not quite 10 yet.
Thank you.
We should catch Mary Beth up on last week, right?
Yeah, mine kind of did.
Oh, we did tell you?
A little bit about it, yes.
Did he
but
say- did
probably
you-
Not everything.
Did he tell you what a mess it was?
Oh,
It was a little messy in the beginning because, so Ignite got rewritten this year.
okay.
And they have two sections to it. And the first section is called, I guess, Spark, which I actually did not go through. And then this is Ignite. So I've taught the old version of Ignite, different classes. And they have 3 different parts. They give you kind of like a facilitator guide showing you, well, the facilitator guide, this is where we went astray, is actually linked to all of the slides. But what you guys have in your book is different. So the page numbers weren't, you know, so I was just a little bit of a mix. Like I wasn't sure what you had because I never saw what you get. So I wasn't totally sure what you had in your book in comparison to the slides. And then I wasn't totally sure if every slide with my guide wasn't matched. So I was like, you know what? We're not going to try to make this confusing. We're just going to talk about a bunch of cool things. Yeah. So this morning, we are going to review prospecting to start. Just because now I figured it all out, I went back through and I want to make some things clear this morning on prospecting to make sure we really nail down some important pieces of that. And then we'll jump into marketing, the difference between the two. And then we'll jump into doing some really good conversation around marketing and creating the marketing pieces and what it can do for you. And at the end, in the material, it actually says to go through Command and make a marketing piece. We're not going to do that today only because we have so many different levels of people. Some people aren't even licensed yet, so they don't even have a Command login. So it is sort of counterintuitive to do that, in my opinion. We do have classes here in the Market Center to teach you how to use Command, and they're taught every week and every month. So when you get to that point, you can go to the class. So we'll look at the slides and we'll talk about what Command can do. And then we'll talk more about what you can do on your own prior to maybe having access to that tool. And then at the end, we'll just my goal for you is to leave here with a plan and strategy for your prospecting sessions. And really and truly, I would love to link that to how you can be marketing hand in hand with your prospecting sessions, because to me, that's the most powerful way to do it. And we're going to talk about that too. So I'm way more put together. So we have new faces. Is it Soto? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, I'm George. I'm an ISA with Taylor Davis' team.
Fantastic. And you are? Christina? Are you licensed yet? Okay, fantastic. And have you joined this particular office? Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. And then Mary Beth. She's the other Ryan. Yeah. Ryan was here with us last week. I think, is it Kyla?
Kyla's on our team.
Yeah, she was with us last week too.
She's on the team.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we will kind of go through some Zoom. And Mitzi, and you were here, and Tina, you were here. your name is? Alan. And whose licensed and has joined this office? So you guys aren't licensed yet. You're in school right now.
2 weeks.
Okay, with Peggy right now? Or
Yes.
different?
Well, we're done. We're just waiting on the test. There's
Oh,
no back and forth
okay.
on that. We can't take the test.
Oh,
Me too.
I'm scheduled for the 12th.
okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you don't have your logins, you don't have, so we won't dwell a lot on that. Cool.
Don't get back from it. We'll catch up. Or I can speak for myself.
Well, you don't really want me to be the one to teach you how to use technology, one. And two, I'm going to be honest with you. So Command rolled out last year, and I have 2 administrative assistants. One, so Christina's role to mainly, okay, so when you get your first assistant, typically you're selling so much real estate that your hair is on fire and you're stressed, right? Like you just are so busy, you can't keep up, things are falling through the cracks. When you get to that point, your assistant comes in and they figure out everything that you do. They clean up for you and they start systematizing, they create systems and processes and take things off your plate. Paperwork, files, listing, phone, right, title, phone calls, all the back. So Christina, for instance, on my way here, an agent texted me about a showing and changing the time, and I just sent it to her. I said in the car, she handled it. An offer came in, I'm teaching a class, she's handling it, right? So she's handling the back end of everything. So we got to a point where she's busy, I'm busy. Her plate starts to get really full because I'm out, closing business, lead generating, prospecting, which we're going to talk about. And I don't have time to do my marketing anymore. Right? I don't have time to keep up with the things coming in.
No.
She's so busy over here doing the back end and helping me. She needs help. So we hired a second person, literally shelter in place. We were interviewing this person for 2 weeks. Shelter in place hit on a Friday, or a Thursday or Friday. And then it was like, I was freaking out. And I'm like, you're hired. And we're not going to the office. We're all working from home. And do you have a Zoom login? So I hired a second assistant literally right then and there, and which was terrifying. And her name is Heather. And what she's actually done is she's taken over our database management and all of our marketing. She creates all of our marketing materials. She puts everything on Facebook. She does all of our Facebook leads. She should be here teaching this class. The technology side of it, she sends everything out. She manages Command. We also have a prospecting database. She manages that. We have another agent, she manages his call list, his prospecting, right? So I have 2 admin right now, and then I was able to add an agent because my one assistant wasn't so busy that she was crazy. We actually had help, so she's freed up, so she's able to help train, I'm able to help train. So anyway, I tell you all of that story because I'm waiting to make sure nobody else comes in or gets on Zoom. That's what the Red Book says. The model is it's you until you can't do it anymore by yourself. You get assistant number 2, which is the terrifying part. And then you get your buyers. So that's the model. I mean, you can do with it what you want. I've done a lot of creative things and crashed and burned and decided to start following it. So there's that. And to be clear, when I talk about following the model, it's this book. I got it when I signed with the office. If they're not doing it anymore, just ask Stephanie if she has one for you. I took mine to Office Max and they were kind enough to spiral bound it for me for like $10 or something. I don't know what it cost. I've never read it cover to cover ever. However, it's like a tool box. Like you go in the tool, you grab the wrench, you get the screwdriver. So day one in real estate, I didn't need to know how to hire an assistant, right? That's in here. I didn't need that chapter. I needed the beginning of this book, which is what I think I texted you. This is the Red Book family on Zoom, my Zoom participants. I needed the beginning. The very beginning of this book tells you how to think. It gives you a lot of myths. They call it myth understandings. So it gives you a lot of like false beliefs that you might think or someone might think about real estate, about yourself, about the industry. So it goes through thinking. Mindset, everything always starts with mindset. How you view yourself, how you view your business, what you want out of this career is all within yourself, right? Like what you want out of real estate, what I want out of real estate, what you want, it's different for everybody. So you really have to figure out your mindset around it. What are you going to do? I joined Keller Williams to go to the Millionaires Club. Literally, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is the title of this book. I think we talked about this in class 1. It's not the $250,000 real estate agent. It's not the $100,000 real estate agent. It's the $1 million real estate agent. And the path to that is a model. And this entire book is based on that model. How can you net $1 million selling houses? And that's this book. So he breaks it down into 4 different models. And the very first one is lead generation. It's leads, listings, and then leverage. You get leads to go get listings, not buyers. Buyers are great and they're a quick ticket to a paycheck. Listings are where it's at because listings will bring you buyers. So you want to lead generate to get listings. Eventually you're going to get so many, you're so busy, you need leverage, which is your assistant, right? So we kind of covered that. All the chapters are in here, and the very first model that he talks about, and the 2 that I think that would be most beneficial to you, is if you look at the economic model, which tells you how much you have to do to get something. How many phone calls do I have to make? How many conversations do I have to have? How many doors do I need to knock? How many open houses should I have to talk to enough people, to then set enough appointments to sit down, to ask for business, to get business? So you're winging it until you actually make a plan. And that's what this really is. So I tell you that because I brought it up last class, but I didn't have it, I didn't show you, and I just wanted to show you, like I literally have my ear marked. It takes you through the lead gen model, and the economic model would be my first. I wouldn't even, if I'm new, I wouldn't even go past that. Start with lead gen. Once you think you've got it, move on. That's all. The Ignite, this class actually tells you your daily habits are like, it's like 10, 10, 10, and we're going to talk about it at the end. So let's dive into, and just so I make sure everybody on Zoom, I think you can see me. Can you all hear me? Are we all good here?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Just making sure. So let's go. If you open your book, you actually, this chapter, it's chapter 2, or I guess is that, so it's element session number 2, marketing. That's where we're at. And it's actually really short in your book. You guys only have like 6 pages of stuff. But if you go to the first one, it really does, it takes you directly to the, and actually I have it in here, so let me just do this. It takes you straight to this, right? No, just kidding. I guess I don't have a slide of it. It takes you to the prospecting, both, and marketing that we looked at last time. Do you guys remember? We went through the columns and I was saying, look at the prospecting side, look at the marketing side, and think about what speaks to you. What is something on those lists? And only pick 5. Don't do more than 5 things. And the reason why is because if you try to do everything, you'll go really shallow. And what I would like for you to do is go really deep in some things that you really, really care about, that are really important to you, that you think you would like to do. So if you, I know you guys weren't here last week, so look at that list, circle like 3 to 5 things that appeal to you, that you see yourself actually executing or doing on the prospecting or the marketing side, because that's what I'm going to challenge you to think about by the end of this session. You're going to start creating yourself a prospecting plan that's marketing enhanced. So if we go to this slide here, because this is kind of our first step, the marketing versus prospecting, but this slide does a much better job of showing you that prospecting is the base, is your foundation of your triangle, right? Prospecting is the thing that's going to actually get you clients. So do you guys remember what I said? I'm gonna shut this door. Remember what I said last time, Tuesday, about prospecting? Anything? Let's throw some things out there. If you remember anything about you guys remember when we were talking about it? Start with people you know. Start with people you know. Yes, perfect.
Tell everybody you meet that you're in real estate.
Tell everybody you meet, because I'm in real estate. Yes, bring up the fact that you're in real estate, that you sell real estate, right? Everyone you meet, no matter what.
So I'm super excited that you told me that, because yesterday I took my kids to go get a haircut, and I'm talking to a lady, and I'm telling her that I'm an agent, and she's like, can I get your phone number? I'm gonna market for $400,000 house.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you can get my number.
Diana says prospecting. Yeah, Diana says prospecting is spending the time with people, like actually meeting the people, which I would agree with. I'm gonna be a voice for Zoom and I have my chat box up. You guys, I'm just really rocking this today. Okay. Yes, so $400,000. Does she need to buy or sell?
I mean, there's no contingency, she's renting in the
Okay.
neighborhood where I have a rental property.
Awesome.
So I
Okay.
know it's a great neighborhood, and I know that she has to have, I mean, rent there
Sweet.
like 1,700, so she can
Fantastic.
afford it.
So what we will do is we'll probably use that person as an example of what you should do next. Actually,
Yes, please.
let's just walk through it right now, honestly.
Okay,
So you guys on Zoom, Tina met someone yesterday because she was,
Solar House Nation.
how'd you meet her though? Where'd you meet her at?
JD's hair place.
At the hair place. And they struck up a conversation because Tina's chatty. And she found a way to say, well, you know, I'm in real estate.
Well, what it was, is
Right.
how you said you drove the wheels off the car.
Mm-hmm.
She said she drives all the time, and I said, oh, sis, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a real estate agent. I'll drive the wheels off my car.
Right, right.
Wheels off
Yep.
the car, we're not
Yes.
coming here.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, she was like, you really are recruiters in California. And we just kind of started talking. She said she's looking for a house. She's working with an agent right now. She has not signed an agreement.
Okay.
The agent's not with Keller Williams. She does not care for her agent. The place she's looking, I've got rental properties all over that area, in the Falls and Rock Creek.
That's
and
awesome.
Pepperwell, and I was like,
Yeah. So she's okay. So this person is looking for roughly a $400,000 house. She's renting. She met Tina. They were talking, and Tina said, "Oh, I'm going to drive the wheels off my car, and because I'm a real estate agent." And she said, "Oh, you are? I've been working with an agent, but I don't like her that much. It sounds like she's not serving me well." So Tina said, "Did you sign something with this person? Are you committed?" She said, "No." So now what does Tina do, right? So now you're trying to figure out what are my next steps.
I sent her my contact, I gave her a business card, I told her I would be calling her. in the
Of
next
course,
day,
yes.
Because she said she didn't want to be pestered too bad, since that was the problem with the other one.
Okay,
I was like, well, I'll give her a day or so, and then shoot her a text. with
Okay.
Maybe some listings.
okay. So real estate 101, especially with buyers, is you want to sit down with this person in a professional setting and have a professional conversation, because you're just casual until you take it a step further.
Okay.
So it's kind of like dating in the sense, yes. So it's kind of like dating in the sense where you meet someone, you like them. I just had this conversation with my 14-year-old this morning. And this is actually a perfect example too. So she's like, this boy is cute. I'm going to tell him he's cute and get his number. I'm like, oh, Jesus, right? Like, but the thing is it's easy to have a conversation about, oh, my wheels on my car are going to fall off. I'm an agent. Oh my gosh, I'm looking. Here's my. It's all very casual, right? Flirty, whatever. Like, so these two analogies that we have going. But the idea is that you haven't sat down as a professional business person yet
Okay.
to say, well, let's have a real conversation about what it looks like for you. What's her name? Do you know it? I love using people's names because it just, especially if you're in conversation with someone and you use someone's name, when you know you meet someone and they use your name, you're important to them. Courtney, right? Okay. Courtney, I know that you've been looking for a house, you've been striking out, you feel pestered, you haven't had a great experience. It's really important to me that we have a phenomenal experience together. I want to be sitting at a closing table with you and you're getting keys to your beautiful dream home. And I helped you do it and it was wonderful. And I need to figure out how to make that happen for you. The best thing that we can do right now is actually sit down together at my office. We have this huge conference room. I love this conference room. It has a big screen TV. We can sit down at my office. We can walk through a needs analysis. So with buyers, you always want to do a needs analysis before you ever open a door. Because the minute that you open the door, you just became a door opener and not a real estate agent. There's a big difference there. The fiduciary and the consultation are so important for this person. They have to get to know you. They have to believe in you. They have to gain trust in you. And when you're opening a door and they're looking at the kitchen, You just became the door opener, not the trustful, confident, fiduciary person for them that they're going to listen to along the way. And buying houses is very emotional for people. It's a huge decision. They're going to live there. You're going to literally walk through their bathroom with them. You're going to be in their master bedroom closet with them. Like, you're going to be talking about their life with them in this house. If they don't trust you enough to tell you how they're feeling and the truth, you're just going to show a ton of houses until they think they found one they liked. They need you to take them by the hand and walk them down the path and say, listen, trust me, listen to me. I am here to guide you. I'm here to consult with you. I'm here to make you make a good decision. You never create that bond with someone if you just start opening doors. And a lot of agents just start opening doors because they're not confident in themselves. So I was telling my daughter this morning that she just thinks boys are cute and wants to get their number and wants to be pursued because she's actually not confident in herself to allow her true character to come through, decisions she makes, how much she loves herself, right? Like, it's all about mindset and self-confidence. Who she is when she's with us, who she is at high school, 14, freshman year, two different people. I'm like, you have to work on getting to when you're Kylie at home doing backflips and cheer, and you have all this confidence and you have all these talents. You need to get to be that person in all shapes and forms. At school, at home, with your friends, with your family. You guys are like freshmen in high school right now, real estate agents, right? You're starting something new. It's super socially awkward. You've never done it before. So you've got to get to where you're yourself and you feel good about yourself. You feel good about your skills. You gain your confidence, and then you take that out to the world and you allow yourself to really be who you are to start working with people. People work with people they like. People work with people they trust. You are not going to work with everybody. You do not want to work with everybody. Please do not just work with everybody. Be selective in who your clients are. You want clients who are going to sit down with you, listen to you, allow you to guide them. This is super key. I want you to have a good relationship and a really nice, positive experience, because if something hits the fan, you need this person to trust you and to believe in you to handle it instead of it go off the rails and you have a busted deal and a broken heart. Does that make sense? I just took you through a lot of stuff. Okay.
I have a quick question again.
Yeah.
I'm not hijack, but I'm really great at flirting. I
Sure.
can do that.
Right.
How can I sell her on the confidence that I'm competent when I don't feel competent? I feel it because I've got Steven for the first so many
Yep.
transactions, and
Sure.
then Bob,
Right.
and then the help of everyone.
Right.
But
It's one,
how can
yeah.
I translate that without her sounding like I'm passing them up or like I'm needing to rely? Like, how can I sell her on competence that I don't yet have?
So here's the thing. This is a great conversation. We're so off the wheelhouse, but this is so important. This is so important. You don't eat an elephant at one sitting. You eat it one bite at a time, right? Isn't that the old? Okay. So you're going to do this process one step at a time.
Okay.
And the only thing you need is the knowledge, support, practice, and know-how of that step. I have no idea what the rest of the chapters of this. I've never seen this Ignite. It's been rewritten. Chapters 3 through 8 or whatever, I've never even seen them before. I don't have to, I don't need to. All I need to know is that today's chapter 2 and we're talking about marketing, which we're not, we will, right? But you just do it one step at a time. And if she has questions for you and you don't have the answers, you just say, that's a phenomenal question. And I actually want to answer it, but I'd like to check on something first, if that would be okay with you, because I want to give you correct and accurate information instead of what I think it might be, but I'd like to double check it. Even if you don't know, don't say, oh gosh, I don't know. Say, you know what, that's a great question and I actually have an answer for you. However, I want to fact check myself before I answer that. Would that be okay? Let me write it down and I'll call you whenever. Tell them when the things are going to happen. The most important part of working with clients is they want to work with you. If you made a connection yesterday and she likes you, you need to call her today.
Okay.
You need to look at the MLS and figure out some of the price point, whatever.
2 acres in like more
Yeah.
Norman.
It's gonna get hard to find. Okay, so you need to look at the MLS. So part of the problem is she may not have ever bought a house because it doesn't exist.
Right.
So that's where the needs analysis comes in. You can do a brief needs analysis on the phone. Roughly, what do you need? 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 3,000 square foot, right? Like 400 XYZ thousand in this area. If you just have rough parameters, you can do a quick search.
Okay.
To dig into what this woman's going to buy, you have to sit down with her and say, Tina, Courtney, thanks for coming in today. Please have a seat. I'd like to get to know you better. And I want to really do this needs analysis. I really need to understand what you're looking for. Your wish list, your absolute have to have in a house, and your wish list. So we need to figure out what the absolute have to haves are, no matter what, the deal breakers. And then we need to figure out what you'd like to have, but we can cross it off the list if we found everything. If we found a house that had all the must-haves, what can we cross off the wish list? So the only, now when you're sitting down in this office, okay, just imagine it. Rewind, we did this with the open house. I'm buyer, Courtney, working with an agent who I feel like pesters me. I've never bought a house. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never signed a commitment. Okay. But,
She's bought before.
okay, well, buyer Courtney drives up to this office, right? You open the door, or she comes in to this foyer, which says what? KW across the front of it. You take her into a consultation room, you sit down with her, and you say, I want to get to know you better, and I'm going to sit here and take notes while you talk, and I'm going to ask you some questions about the house. What just happened? You're a professional. Yeah. Have you ever met a doctor at Walmart and been like, oh, hey, like, I need you to look at my broken ankle. You know, maybe I'll just like swing by this house and you can take a look at it. Or do you make an appointment to go to his office into an exam room and he shows up in a white coat, right? And you have a whole series of things that you do, right? If he was like, oh, hey, let me pop my trunk and get my exam kit out.
One.
What if you called her and you're like, oh, I found a bunch of houses. Let's just go look at them. I hope this is resonating with you guys, because
Yes.
the majority of real estate agents out there in the world right now, guess what they're doing? They're joining brokerages that feed them Zillow leads. And guess what they're doing with the Zillow leads? They're you right now. Do you know what to do? Okay, so if I handed you a lead and you called it and they said, I want to go see this house, what would you do? Right. Well, just pretend I just handed you the name and number of someone and they said, hey, Tina, this really cute house just hit the market. I want to go see it. Can we go look at it tonight at 5 o'clock? What would you do? Your gut would be like, I'll set the appointment. Let's go. I'm going to sell this house tonight.
I really need Siri to figure out secret right now.
Right? I mean, doesn't your gut say, like, I have a real estate license and I just paid $1,500 for an MLS key or whatever it is? Like, would you not just like, you have to fight the urge to just be like, let's go look at it.
So glad I'm hearing this.
Because what's gonna,
If she
okay.
had called me today, I would have been like,
Yeah.
yes.
So imagine it. So you go to the house, right? They walk in. Oh my God, this is not what the pictures look like. What do you do? This isn't what you expected? Bye. And they leave. Are they calling you ever again? What did you just do? You got in your car, you spent your time away from your family, you spent some gas money, you emotionally hurt yourself, right? My 14-year-old's at school right now and the voice she texted won't text her back, right? Right? Because you didn't give yourself enough time, confidence. So what I would do, right? There's an entire conversation that has to happen with that buyer. This is a phenomenal house. I'm so glad you're so excited to see it and you want to see it tonight. And I'd love to show it to you tonight, but there's a few things we need to do first, because I want to make sure that if you want to purchase this property, I do my due diligence and set the stage for you to do so. We need to have a really good conversation about what you're looking for, because what if you walk in this house and it doesn't meet your expectations? What else? Should we be looking at other properties too? No, I just really want to see this one. Well, of course you do. Why? Why are you so urgent? Why do you need to move? Why? Let's look at the house at 6:30. Can we meet at my office at 5? Even if you do choose to show them the house that night, meet them here first. Period. End of sentence. Let's meet at my office first. Let's look at the entire market. Let's look at this property. Let's make sure it's priced right. Oh, by the way, who are you pre-approved with? Bring that letter with you, or text it or email it to me first so I can chat with your lender to make sure this house meets the criteria of your loan. So there's all these things that you want to do up front. So let's meet at my office and then we'll go over to that house together. So then they walk in the house. You just met with them for 30 minutes to an hour. And you walk into the house and they say, oh my God, this house doesn't meet my expectations. Well, what did you just do prior? You know their expectations. You just didn't need it. You just said, what do you have to have in a house? What's your wish list? And now you walk in and you say, Courtney, you said you had to have 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2 acres. This house has that. However, on your wish list, you said that you had to have a soaker tub and a stand-up shower in the master. This house only has a soaker tub. Is that a deal breaker for you, or are you willing to let it go? So what you're saying is, if that's a deal breaker for you, then we need to go find a house that has a master shower, and that shower just went on the have to have list. Am I right? So what did you just do? In the future, when homes pop up, if it doesn't have the thing that your buyer just told you they absolutely have to have no matter what, you just eliminated inventory to go show homes. Now you don't have to go waste your time on every single house that pops up that they love, because you're going to vet the house and vet them and continue to remind them what they told you they want. So we are way off topic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But that is how you do it. And then the buyers who are like, screw you, you're not going to show me the house, I'm not going to work with you, slam. That would have been a good time. Right? Just think of that person saying, hey, send me some nudes. This is really way off topic. But like, right? What are you, like, okay, like I talked to, again, I'm continually talking to her about this. Like, oh, I got this text message and this guy's like, hey, send me a picture, send me a name. What are you saying? You're like, no, what are you, no, why? So if someone's like, well, I'm not gonna work with you if you don't show me a house. You're like, no, why? No, hard no. Seriously, I want that to be your reaction. Because what are they gonna do? Waste your time. 1 in 10 might be like, you know what, Tina, you're the best. I love this house. It's not great. You're wonderful. You met me here. I appreciate it. I'm a good person. You took your time. We'll stay in touch. You can be my agent, you know? But like, you're banking on a lot for that person to show up to that showing. That person, if they said that to you at that showing, guess what else they would also do? Come to the consultation first. The person willing to hire you upon showing number 1 is also the person willing to say yes to a consultation if asked in a professional manner. So I feel like a mom right now, and I'm like,
I love it.
Diana said, the worst thing to do is fall in love with a house you aren't approved for. That is a good thing to say. I want to make sure this house meets your expectations, and the details of the property are in line with the loan that you're qualified for. Always talk to the buyer's lender prior to showing them property. If they are qualified for an FHA or a VA loan, and it has to be turnkey, move-in ready, no flaws, and you go to a house and it's missing flooring, there's like peeling paint, broken steps, this property will not qualify for the loan type of your FHA, VA, or even USDA buyer, although USDA is a little bit more lax than the other two. However, they all have to be move-in ready. The only loan that will qualify that is conventional, possibly, depending on the loan type. A home that's in disrepair has to be a renovation loan. Otherwise, what happens is your buyer pays $550 for an appraisal. The appraiser shows up, and even though your buyer is okay with the condition of the property, the appraiser says, Mr. Buyer, this house has peeling paint, broken steps, it's missing flooring, and all those things have to be fixed prior to you closing on the property, and I have to come back out and inspect it to make sure that happens. They send it to the lender. The lender will not loan on the property until those things happen. So now you have to go to the seller and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you have to replace flooring, fix the steps, do the painting, and the seller says no. So then what? You get to say, sorry, buyer, you can't buy this house. And then what is your buyer going to say? The buyer's going to say, why didn't you tell me that?
Let's say, let me ask you, let's say it's $1,000 worth of work, but your commission would be
Doesn't matter.
1,000.
Don't even go there.
No.
Nope.
You wouldn't do
It's the
that?
seller's responsibility. You can negotiate money out of your own pocket all day long. If that seller's not going to do it, first of all, it's their responsibility, and it's the other agent, if it's listed, to do their job. Do not give up your money for somebody else to get paid to do their job for them out of your own pocket.
Because, I mean, the likelihood that the next person is gonna get inspected, and the same thing's gonna happen, and they're not gonna be able to sell it fairly.
Right, and that real estate agent is probably me with my buyer in the front yard that says, Courtney, you're qualified for a VA loan, and this house will not pass appraisal. This
Okay.
isn't your house, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Because my job is to get you what you want and save you time and money.
Okay.
And make sure you're not in love with a property that you can't purchase because your loan will not lend on this.
Okay.
That makes you a good agent. That's why people hire you. So when you say, I save people time and money, that's the time and money savings right there. It's that conversation. Because here's the thing, you're going to want to be a yes person. You're going to be like, yeah, I know you love this house. It's so beautiful. It's a $300,000 house on sale for $100,000. You should buy it. I mean, they're like, oh my gosh, could you just imagine when I HGTV this house? And you're going to be like, yeah, I can with $300,000 in cash. Do you have that? But these are the conversations you have to have with people, guys. Like, get ready. Or better yet, have a needs analysis up front, talk to their lender, understand their loan type, and never take them there in the first place. Right? Okay, so prospecting. Okay, here's what I want you to know about prospecting. Here's the Cliff Notes guide of last week. Get a planner. I have Google Calendar too. Okay, my Google tells me where I'm supposed to do things I absolutely have to no matter what do that day. So it's usually like today's class is on my calendar, for instance. Pick my son up by 3 o'clock is on my calendar. It's a no matter what, it's priority one. Everything else can wait. All the fires can wait. Christina can get in my email. Like all the other stuff can wait except for the stuff I committed to. So if I committed to a buyer to show them houses at 7 o'clock tonight, that's what I'm doing at 7 o'clock tonight, right? Everybody, and that's when my family can go figure it out. They can do dinner on their own and throw them to the wolves because I committed to a 7 o'clock appointment. I use my Google Calendar for commitments that I have to do no matter what. Christina knows that. She sees my calendar. It's a no matter what. She can't move it unless she asks. Okay, so I would encourage you to not clutter up your calendar with details. Put on there what you absolutely have to do no matter what, so you have clarity for your day. Get a different calendar, open it up, or a notebook, or a whatever. And know when are you working. And by working, I mean lead genning. When are you lead generating? When are you prospecting? Prospecting and lead gen are the same thing. So we're going to use the word prospecting because Gary Keller says Keller Williams is a prospecting based company that is marketing enhanced because prospecting equals profit. Marketing many times costs money, and if it doesn't cost money, that's awesome. You're still relying on somebody to pick the phone up and call you. Prospecting is when you pick the phone up and call them. That's the biggest difference. Prospecting is you are doing something, knocking on a door, holding an open house, picking the phone up, bringing up real estate in a conversation with someone specifically to talk about real estate with them. That is a prospecting activity. Marketing is when you create a piece of material. So it could be a flyer, a brochure, it could be a mailer, it could be a Facebook post, right? I love that we can edit everything on Facebook now and put smiley faces and words and all kinds of stuff, right? So you're creating something and you're sending it out to the world and you're waiting for the world to react to it and engage with you in some way. Prospecting is when you say, I'm going to engage with you right now in a conversation about real estate. Which one is free?
Prospect.
Always. Prospecting is always free. Always. Prospecting equals profit. $0, just time. Time is money. However, which one's more powerful? Prospecting. It's so powerful. The face-to-face, the belly-to-belly, right? You guys being here or versus Zoom, probably two different experiences, right? Being in the same room with someone, exchanging energy with that person, having a talk with them, looking at their mannerisms, understanding how they sit, their demeanor. It is so powerful versus you sent out something on Facebook, which again, 2D, right? You sent something out on Facebook and you're waiting for somebody to comment, right? It's just not as powerful. It's easier. It's the flirt versus the date. Okay, you get it? Okay. So you have your Google Calendar. It's the stuff you have to do. Anyone who has access to it knows that that's your life. It's your pillars. It's your rocks. Don't move it. Don't ignore it. You do it. So in a separate notebook, let's say on Monday, I'm going to call all of my family. On Tuesday, I'm going to call all of my past coworkers. On Wednesday, I'm going to call everybody that I don't know what category to put them in, right? You just have to decide. I don't care how you decide and how you do it and what your activities are. Maybe Tuesday is the day that you door knock a neighborhood around an open house you've scheduled for the weekend. Maybe Wednesday's the day you call your friends and family. I don't really care what your schedule looks like, but you have to schedule time and then you have to know what you're going to do with the time. So for instance, and I will just use my life, we call all of our past clients, we do it by last name letter. So A and Z, B and E. I remember B and E because of bacon and eggs. So anyone with a B and E name, right, gets called on Thursdays. So on Thursday, what do I have to do prior to Thursday? If I start at 9 and I'm done by 11, what do I have to do prior to 9 a.m. on Thursday? Schedule the time. So where does it go? In my Google Calendar, right? 9 to 11 on Thursday, I'm making phone calls to B&Es. This is not when I'm handling negotiations on a contract. This is not when I'm teaching a class here. If I teach a class here Thursday 10 to 11:30, well, I'm not making my calls. So should that be on my calendar? No, it's someplace else, right? You have to know. Now, what else do I have to do prior to 9 a.m. on Thursday? I have to get my dang list ready. Yeah. Do I want to scroll through my phone? Maybe. Right? Or could I, prior to, get an Excel sheet, start typing names out, look at my Facebook, look at my phone, actually put down the names. I would encourage you to do this. Put down the names of the people that you're going to call. Do you have their phone number? Are you just Facebook friends? What information are you missing? Do you have their email? Do you have their address? Do you know where they live? What neighborhood is it?
Does Canada have a way for you to be able to do that?
Yeah, you can filter and you can do tags,
Yeah,
which is
right,
categories.
tags.
So if you tag someone, coworker, right? And then we tag ours B&E. So we can just click the B&E tag. So I could do past client, filter, past client B&E, family, friends B&E. Right, you can filter through your tags and get your list, your call list. Which requires you to put them in your database. So starting out, just start with an Excel sheet, right? Just start with an Excel sheet of everybody you know and just start putting people, right? Because to put people in command, it's super easy if you do an import from Excel to command. So you can do that. So, or you can do it one at a time. It's your call. I don't know, maybe you're only calling 5, 10 people. Is it really that hard to put them in at that point? Your call. If you schedule 2 hours, you have 1 hour of phone calls and another hour to enter people, right? What did you, and it sounds small, But think about if you did that 5 days a week for 30 days. And then 2 hours a day. So you'd have 10 hours a week spent on making phone calls and entering people in your database. So then you'd have 40 hours a month just spent on calling people and putting them in your database. What does your database look like at the end of that month? And are you ever going to have to enter them again? They're already in there. See, so you just one bite at a time. 2 hours, beanies, that's all I'm doing. And then pat yourself. You're going to feel, this is my problem. I feel like I didn't do enough, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I didn't do enough. That wasn't enough. I didn't get an appointment, or I didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like that really wasn't that powerful. Nothing amazing happened. No fireworks went off. I didn't score any touchdowns. Okay. So then the next day, do I want to do my stuff because it was so like underwhelming? No, I want to go out and like get some fireworks. I want to have a call or a conversation like you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be like, oh, there was nothing exciting that happened today. That was just, I did it. I just did the list. I put them in the database. I have nothing cool to talk about. But you know what's cool to talk about? September 1st. September 1st, when you just logged 40 hours making phone calls, and now all those people are in your database and you never have to do it again. That's pretty cool.
Are you making these calls monthly, weekly?
Weekly.
You are calling all the beans.
Well, I do different letters, and it's actually called D2DL. It's a Keller Williams thing. You can Google it. It's in KW Connect. So it tells you what letters to call on what days, or like what weeks.
So how often are people getting a phone call from you?
4 times a year. So if you start week 1, you do your A and, it's not A and Z, what is it? Well, shoot, guys, it's on my calendar. I guess I could probably just tell you, right? Okay. I say that.
And it breaks down to 4 contacts a year.
It's Y and Z, I's and Q's, T's and J's, P's and L's, S's and U's, N's and R's, M's and X's, right? F's and G's.
If you leave a voicemail, do you go back to that person again for another call?
I make a phone call, leave a voicemail, send a text message, go on Facebook, Facebook message them, send a carrier pigeon and a smoke signal.
So yes.
Anything I can do to get a hold of that person that day, and then I don't have to, then they don't get missed.
What if you don't get in touch with them that day? You go after them another day?
I just assume the carrier pigeon made it to their house and I call them the next go round. See what I'm saying? You could just write a little note. Hey, I tried to call you. I left you a voicemail. I sent you a Facebook message. Maybe you're not on Facebook, whatever. But I had your address. So I wanted to send you this note. I'm thinking about you. Hey, by the way, I just launched my real estate career. Here's a couple business cards. If you need anything or know someone who does, please keep me in mind. I can't wait to talk to you. Give me a call back when you have time. Do you want to have coffee? XOXO. That's a lot to put on a carrier pigeon. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do everything that you possibly can to connect with that human being in that moment, and then you did your job. And you just assume the next time you call in another 3 months, they're going to answer the phone because they got the voicemail, they got the phone call. It could just be really busy. Like, you know, I mean, come on, there's days that I don't answer my phone and I don't care what you do. You could show up at the front door with chocolate and I'd be like, leave it. Vodka would be different. I'm just kidding. No, but you see what I'm saying though? Like, just, you did your job, move on. It's okay. You didn't catch them that day. It's all right. But you tried, and you tried everything you could do. So, and that's it. And then at the end, when you're like, I made 10 phone calls, I mailed out 10 cards, I sent 10 text messages, I messaged 10 people on Facebook, I went on their Facebook page, I found a really cute picture and I commented on it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe your baby started, you know, your baby's a kindergartner. That's insane. Let's get together. Let's chat. I miss you. Love you. Bye. They saw your face. They heard your voice. They got your text. You are in front of them. In some way, shape, or form, they appreciate it. And then I'll get text like 3 days later that'll be like, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I was working. It was crazy. The kids were crying. I finally got a chance to sit down. Like, how are you? you know?
If they answer the call, do you still do the rest, or like at that point it's overkill?
So my calls are basically like, hey, I promised to stay in touch with you and I'm keeping my promise. I wanted to see how you're doing. I know it's kind of a crazy time of the year, right? Just whatever's going on.
Right.
And then I would say, but you don't want it to go off the rails. So then I would say, hey, I am calling for a reason. You know, every so often during the year, I'm going to call you and let you know, are you getting our market updates? Because we email them out. We put them on Facebook every month. Are you seeing our stuff? Monthly market updates is marketing. So we email them out to everyone. We put them on our Facebook. Okay. So when you create yourself, either your personal Facebook page or your business Facebook page, I would encourage you to have both. Because I do, like when I'm going out throughout my day, I post stuff on my personal page and then I'll share it to my business page. And then I do all my business on my business page. Because I'm a real person in the world and people want to do real estate transactions with who? Rise Realty Group or Jennifer Rush? They want to do business with Jennifer Rush. She just happens to be a part of Rise Realty Group. So when Rise Realty Group says, we sold a house, we're under contract, we did this, we did that, I expect 0 likes and no comments because it is not engagement. All it is marketing. They see your brand, that's it. So if you're posting stuff from your business page and nobody cares, don't worry about it. How often do you see a commercial and call the number and say, it was a great commercial, right? How often do you drive by a billboard and call the people and be like, I saw your billboard today. I liked it, a thumbs up.
So for the Facebook page, do we have to put the same kind of things that we have to put on our business card? Are there laws for that?
Yes, so it just depends. If you're just talking about your day, hi, I'm Jennifer, I'm showing a house this day. I'm sure that I'm sure a dentist was like, I looked at some teeth, you know? I mean, like you're being yourself, right? Now, if you're gonna market property, then it needs to be obviously somewhere in there, the brokerage, right?
Okay.
Then yes,
Okay.
yeah, totally different.
So for the name, what does yours say? Just your name, or do you have the name of your team or the name of your?
I'll share stuff, and if like today I shared Patrick's new listing. Brent Swift has a new listing. Patrick Schrank is part of this office, his assistant.
Okay, I saw that.
And it says Swift and Company, blah, 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 blah. And so I shared it. So it's all in there with the house. And I just said, this is so cute, right? Like 4 acres. What do you love about it? I don't need to, Keller Williams Mullinex does not need to be a part of me thinking a house is adorable. See what I'm saying? Now, if I say, here's our new listing, then that needs to have Rise Realtor Group, Keller Williams Mullinex, right? And all the stuff is on there. So we make it look that way, and then I can share with all the stuff on there.
So your business page though, your name. So I literally made one and not done anything with it because I don't know.
Just go look at mine. Just go look at another individual agent's. Go look at 100 and decide what you want to look like. Yeah, totally your call. Go stalk. Remember we talked about stalking? Go stalk and then decide. Okay, so prospecting, and this graph says it. We're going to move on because there's some really good questions on the next page, but it says time intensive, proactive, immediate results. This is what you need to know about prospecting. When are you doing it? What do you need to do it? The list of people you are calling. Do not take up the 2 hours of your prospecting time trying to find phone numbers. You just wasted time. So you have a prep time and you have a do it time. Just like prior to the basketball game, they stretch and warm up. They practice and they stretch and warm up. They don't show up to the game on the time that the game is supposed to start and say, well, we're going to practice and then stretch and then warm up and then play the game. Because if the game's supposed to be 3 hours, how much of that game are you actually watching at that point? Don't be that guy. You're a professional. You want to get to the Millionaires Club. You have to do the work in advance and show up in prime form at the time that you're supposed to do your job. That is the JOB. That's the leads.
Do you find, like you said, late mornings when you do your calls?
I do my calls usually 9 to 11, and I'll tell you why. I drop my son off 15 minutes north of my house between 7:45 and 8. I drive to my house. I pick up my daughter. I drive her south to her school. And then by the time I either get to the office or back to my home, it's about 9 o'clock. I have enough time to get my coffee and settle in. Thankfully, I have a team of incredible professionals who create my list for me.
And do you find people receptive at that hour?
Yeah, I don't care. I'll call somebody at midnight if I had to. I would. I would message them. I would send them a car. I would write. If I literally worked all day long, this is how I got my real estate license. I went to my 50-hour-a-week job. I came home and literally was breastfeeding my baby at that time, would put him in a crib and sit at my kitchen table and do real estate school until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. If I had to write 10 handwritten notes at the end of every night at 11 o'clock and mail them out the next day, I'd do it. It doesn't really matter what time of the day you do it. If you're making phone calls, it doesn't really matter if that happens at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, or 7 o'clock, truthfully. If they can't answer, they won't, and if they can, they will. What matters is they saw your number pop up, they got a voicemail, they got a text message, they got a private message from you on Facebook, or you commented on their cute puppy picture, and then you mailed them something because you didn't get in touch with them. The time of day does not matter. And that's actually from Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt, which I read in 2016. I just started it again on Audible because I need that. I need the kick in my pants every 6 months or so. I just need Fanatical Prospecting. I just need it. I need the push off the edge. You're never interrupting someone. Well, okay, be honest, you're always interrupting someone. But let's be clear about what a cold call is, okay? A cold call, honestly, only exists in your head. A cold call, a warm call, a hot call, a friend call, a mom. Has your mom ever called you and you couldn't answer the phone? Right? Your mother. Like, I could call my mom right now. She probably wouldn't answer. I get a text that says, I'm quilting. What do you want? Right? But like, do you ever feel bad about interrupting your mom? Who cares if you're interrupting a stranger? Who cares? Like, we all are busy people. We answer if we can, and if we don't, we don't. The word cold call, get rid of it. It's silly. I don't know why it exists, because the reality is it's just a phone call. The person on the other end is just a human being. You're a human being. You're using a device. You want to talk to another human being. Again, people sent carrier pigeons to do this. There was a Pony Express at one point, and it was a human sending another human something. You just want to communicate with somebody. There's nothing cold about it. That's actually very warm. And your intentions need to be, I want to get to know you better. I wanted to tell you I love you. I want to deepen our relationship. Oh, by the way, did you know I sell real estate? If you need anything, I'm pretty good at my job, and I'd love to help you in that case. Because what I don't want is for you to go on Zillow, call to see a house, get the agent who doesn't know what they're doing to show it to you. You decide you want to buy it. They write their contract, and they've never done it before. Do you really want somebody that you know in your world, that you used to work with, that you're friends on Facebook with, that it doesn't matter who they are? Do you really want that person that you could have reached out to not understand how this works and never hear from you and go see a house on Zillow with an agent who's never shown one before? That sucks. Because I've had people call me and say, well, we didn't want to bother you because we weren't really sure if we were in the market, but we drove by this house and it was really cute, so we called the sign, and then the agent said they could show it to us. We looked at it with the agent, but then the agent said some really shady things, and then they did this, and then they said there was multiple offers, and we don't really know what we're doing, and we haven't talked to the bank, and we love the house, and so, you know, Susie's crying in the corner, and we finally figured out we should probably just call you. What if I'd called that person 4 times a year prior and said, if you ever need anything, call me first? Right? So I know you guys think that, like, you don't want to sound like a money hungry, right? Is this like in your head? I don't want to call people and ask for business because they're going to think that I'm trying to get their money. Like, all these things, this is all mindset. Like, just imagine, like, okay, so here's a perfect example. My son started school last year. He has a teacher's assistant. Her name is Miss Lindsay, and his teacher. And they're so awesome and they take care of my child, guys. Okay, my kid goes to school and I rely on these human beings to make sure that he makes it in the room, and they teach him all day long and I trust that it's good things, and then they send him back to me, right? It's like instinctually the worst thing that you could ever do as a mother. Bye, stranger. I hope you take care of my kid. It's awful. I hate it. There's nothing I like about it. When he first started school, I was like, oh, man, I don't want to talk about real estate. Remember what I told you? You always talk about real estate with everybody. I didn't want to talk about real estate because I didn't want my son's teachers thinking that I was trying to sell them. I was like, you know what? Real estate doesn't need to be here. This is my son's school. Like, I'm not even going to talk about it. I just don't want to be that person. I want to be the person who I don't want them to think of me that way. Then, right? Okay, listen. If my son's teacher calls a Zillow, like a Zillow agent, okay, if you use Zillow, but like I have my own judgments around it, so I'm just gonna share those. And they get an agent who's never done a transaction before because I was afraid to say, hey, by the way, I'm a real estate agent. If you need one ever, like you literally watch my child every day. You will be my #1 client for life. Like, you will get the best service I have to give to anybody because I trust you with my baby. Like, I will be the best agent on planet Earth for you. And I mean that, truthfully mean that. But I was like afraid that but like, I'm like, if you ever need anything real estate, please call me. It's like a lot of time and money. Or you get someone, you know, who just like showed up and they have no idea and they wasted your time and money, right? Like, so you guys have to think about, this is real. My best friend, I'm selling my best friend's house right now. Wow, has she taught me how much better I need to give service to everybody. Because she was like, I'm only texting you because we're best friends, but I have to know what happened during that showing. Is she different than any other seller on the face of the planet? No. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to make sure, you know, this is Heather's house. So we've got to be on top of it. And then I was like, whoa, why should I be on top of it for my bestie? Everybody deserves that. Whoa. It has me completely redoing our seller experience right now. Everybody should be my best friend. Everybody in my life should know I'm freaking awesome and I'm going to do everything in my power to help them and not get them in a bad situation by not talking about real estate because I don't have self-confidence. You know, like this is Kylie today. Oh, this boy is cute, but he doesn't talk to me. And I'm like, because you lack self-confidence. If you're self-confident, he'd talk to you because you'd be cool. But now you're just like this meek little mouse in the corner whining, right? So you get to choose who you are every day. You get to choose who you are when you talk to people. If you're coming from a place of, I want your money, don't pick the phone up. Seriously, if you're coming from a place of, I want to help you, because like it would break my heart to hear that you had a terrible real estate experience with an agent who didn't care about you when I care so much about you because you're this person to me in my world. I care enough about you to tell you if you need anything, I'm here, guys. I'm like super passionate around this subject because I have lived seeing friends and family go through hardship. And I was a coward, and had I not been, perhaps that could have ended differently for them. And I believe that to my core, and I'm giving that to you because if somebody had been up here passionately talking about this day one, perhaps I would have been a little bit more brave. So that's my soapbox. Okay, we are almost done. So let's go through. We did this. There's a couple questions on here and I want you guys to talk to me. And I am so sorry. Okay. Zoomers, are you still with me? I feel like everyone's like napping. Everyone's like, okay, good. Okay. Doug's like, he's probably having lunch right now. Okay. How do you know where the customer is and how do you meet them there? This is this is your marketing mastermind. These questions are in your book. So if you turn to page, I think maybe 5.
Yes.
Okay, there's approach, act, aha, is that right? Oh, you're in a different chapter.
Page 5.
Oh,
They like green water.
Okay. I think it's page 5 in your book where it says deep dive marketing. Okay, so these questions are there. So let's just go through the questions really quick. How do you know where the customer is and how do you meet them there? How do you communicate your value proposition? How can you come from contribution or connect in a meaningful way? I just totally soapboxed about that. How important do you think branding and aesthetic consistency is in your marketing? How do you achieve it? And how do you show up with the leads generated from your marketing? Because, okay, Facebook ads, Command has something called Lead Accelerator, which allows you to create Facebook ads in Command and then send them out, and you can pay, like, depending on what we're doing, we'll pay like $10. We get a new listing, we create an ad for it, it's branded. We send it out through Lead Accelerator in Command. Again, when you get Command, go to the classes, you'll learn how to do this. It'll do your Facebook ad for you. Anyone who clicks on it and fills their information out, it's a lead that's sent back to your website or to your database, to Command. So you can generate leads off of your marketing, just like if you do have your sign on your face on a billboard or on the side of the bus, somebody might pick the phone up and call you. I'm not saying that never happens. It can happen. You can generate leads off of marketing. It's just going to be a lot less numbers and a lot less meaningful than prospecting. Prospecting is very direct, very meaningful, and very powerful because you're doing something. Marketing is you're putting your brand out there, you're putting information out there, you're putting something pretty out there, and it's a representative of you, and you're hoping that people then reach out to you for help, which is great. However, you're going to want to make sure that your marketing is in line with your prospecting too. So let's just take a moment, and actually, I think one perfect thing to do right here is in your book, next to somewhere at the top, just at the top of the page, right? Write 3 descriptive words or characteristic traits about yourself. So for me, it would probably be direct. What else am I? I'm a little bossy. But with my clients, I care a lot. I have a high level of care for my people. I'm very passionate about helping them and making sure they're making good decisions with their money and their time. So like for me with my clients, so at home I might say I'm direct and bossy. For me with my clients, I would say I'm probably very driven. I'm a leader and I love them. Right? So think about some things about yourself and then how is that going to show up for your clients? Who are you as a person and what words would you use to tell your clients that or be that person for your clients? So think on that and write down 3, 4, 5, however many words at least a minimum of 3 words about yourself and how that's going to show up for you as a real estate agent. So I'm going to give you just a minute to think about that. You too, Zoomers. Write down 3 words about yourself as a person, and then maybe translate that into how would that show up for your clients. So for me, my example was bossy, and we're just gonna call that leadership in client world. What are some words you guys wrote down?
Aggressive.
Okay, that might be one of my words too.
I would say impatient, but not in a bad way. I mean, just like.
Urgent?
Urgent. So that sounds like a negative word, impatient.
Sure.
But.
So you will handle your clients' needs with urgency. Yeah, so what else? What else did you guys come up with?
I had determined.
You had what?
Determined.
Determined, perfect. I would also say determined could be used as persistent. If I'm gonna hire a real estate agent who is urgent, persistent, positive,
I
right?
like hers with flirty there. I usually can bring some game to a conversation and roll with just about any type of.
I'm a good time.
personality.
Yeah, I'm fun to hang out with. I tell people that in my consultations all the time. I'm like, guys, I'm really fun to hang out with. I'm a straight shooter. I will not beat around the bush. I will hold my tongue before I'll tell you a lie. I am truthful. I value fairness a lot. I will, to my detriment, if it's unfair to you, it will not happen in my world. Fairness is so important. That's why I write win-win contracts, which means you're gonna have to give, and so is the seller, but you'll both be happy in the end. That's a true trait. I am like, if it's not fair, it's not for me. So when I write my contracts, and my buyer's like, we're gonna be 10 grand under, we're gonna ask for 7 grand in closing, that seller can suck it. I'm like, you're not my client. It's not for me. That's not how I function. We're gonna write a fair contract to get you the house that you love, right? We might ask the seller to give a little bit, but you're gonna have to also. And guess what happens with those deals? They're smooth, they're positive, and they get to the table. I'm not afraid to send a lowball offer on an overpriced house, but I won't do it if it's priced right. That's just wrong in a market like this. So do you see how these characteristic words really turn into business principles? That's your brand. Those 3 words that you just wrote down, that's your brand. So now think about how you're going to use those words and that brand and create marketing material that speaks to those character traits. So positive, right? So I have Rise Realty Group, and my logo is the sun, and it says Rise, and there's a little house. I should probably show you somewhere, right? If only I had something that was branded. I usually have a coffee mug. Okay, this is it. So it's a little sun, and it says Rise, and there's a little roof. It says Rise Realty Group. We are Rise. My email is jrush@chooserisegroup.com, which is an embedded command, which is, again, a personality trait. I tell people what to do. Our website is riserealtygroupok.com. And all of our stuff is decide Rise, choose Rise. And then we have language that says raising the bar in real estate, rising to the occasion, right? Those are our core values. You know, we want to do business better, so we're going to raise the bar. We'll raise the standards. So that's the whole point. Plus, I really love the sun. It's actually it's a long story, but the sun is like a huge part of how this all came to be. We came from kind of when we created the team, it was sort of a hard moment for all of us. And I was in Arizona, and they have the most beautiful sunrises out there, right? And the canyons and the colors and blah, 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 right? So there's this whole other story to it. So I'm telling you all of this because you have to create a brand. And yes, it's your name, but what is your name attached to? What do you want your marketing pieces to look like? How do they speak to someone when they see your marketing material? How does it reflect who you are as a person and who you're going to be as a real estate agent? What principles about yourself as an agent do you want to send out to the world? What Facebook messaging are you sending out, right? So I have you think about all of that because when you answer a question of how important do you think branding and aesthetic consistency is in your marketing and how do you achieve it, you have to really dive into yourself and think about what does that even mean? What's my brand? What's my aesthetic? And then you have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because when you need to blow your nose, what do you grab? A facial tissue or a Kleenex? Yeah, right. You know what Kleenex is? It's just a brand. Charmin has those little bears that run around, you know, and they're like, oh, we're so soft on your tushy. I don't even know what, like, right? But like, the thing is when I say Charmin, you guys can all envision the bears, right? Snuggle, right? I mean, anything that you can think of that's been branded and branded well, you've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. It's never changed. It's always consistent. It looks the same way. It's linked to the quality. You know what you're going to get. There's an expectation involved. Think about McDonald's. Right? McDonald's is a perfect example of this. Those golden arches, man, they're not going anywhere. Right? So you just have to think about what's my brand going to be. And you don't have to have this crazy logo. And KW already did that for you. Look at KW. Keller Williams has already done this for you. However, you get to pick your words and your message and your aesthetic. So let's look at some examples of some marketing pieces. And this talks about Command. This is a piece of marketing material that was created inside of Command. What do you guys think of this? You're invited, open house, 306 Allendale Drive, Stratford, Connecticut. Join us on Sunday. At the bottom, there's a little picture of people. These are the people. And I think it says, it's kind of hard to read. I think it says like DK Realty Group maybe with their information. What do you think of this?
Well, that's particularly hard to read, but that could be.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think that all of their houses probably have that little logo at the bottom though?
Yeah.
Is that a nice house?
Yeah, well, they feature what's unique about the house.
Totally.
It starts with the same class, for sure.
Of course. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it says in the other corner, KW Partners, Keller Williams Realty, just like ours is going to say Keller Williams Mullinex. If you have your brand or team name or anything, you need to have Keller Williams Mullinex. So ours is Rise Realty Group, Keller Williams Mullinex is right next to it, under it, around it, by it, whatever. So do you like it? Is it pretty? I mean, it's pretty, right? Like if I was looking for a house with character, would this house appeal to me?
Yeah. It's unique.
Well, but in general, right? I mean, so I'll tell you this, when you do Facebook leads and you pick, okay, so let's say you're a buyer and this shows up on your Facebook feed and you read it. So it says average listing price, it says Gem Heights, average listing price 362, sold price 322, 4 active, 26 pending, you know, average price per square foot 199. Things are heating up in Gem Heights. Are you likely to click on this or make a phone call? No. But is their brand right here? And does they just say, hey, we're Heartland Homes and we sell real estate where? Right. So if I'm in the market for a unique property and this shows up in my feed, what am I doing? Clicking on it. What's the address? What's the purchase price? Is there a shower in the master bedroom? Because I just determined that I need that, right? I have questions about, I love that this looks this way, but like, are all the bedrooms upstairs? Are there any bedrooms downstairs? What's on the other side of the stained glass door, right? I'm a buyer and I like this house. What am I doing? Yeah, totally. So this ad's gonna attract buyers. And this ad is attracting who? Sellers.
That's what I was thinking when I saw it.
Right.
I was like, I was trying to sell my house.
Now, buyers, your pool is this wide. Sellers of Gem Heights is this wide. But maybe this is a mailer. Maybe this is a postcard I mail out. And specifically to Gem Heights, so I don't have to send it out to the world. I don't have to go looking for 1 million people to see if my house appeals to them. Maybe I'm only appealing to Gem Heights neighborhood, and here's my brand. I would add something to this. So for listings for sellers, you can offer stuff. Buyers, you cannot. It's called inducement. Sellers, you can do whatever you want. Well, okay, pause. Just kidding. You cannot do whatever you want. You can make offers. You can negotiate commission. You can pay for stuff. You can include stuff. So for example, right now on our website, it says, schedule your appointment with us right now. We're offering a pre-home inspection for all of our sellers who list with us in August.
Say that again.
So for all of our sellers right now on our website, it's call to action. And it says, set up your consultation with us right now. And we are offering a pre-home inspection, meaning we send out an inspector to the house prior to listing. So if there's anything that's wrong, they know about it, they can plan for it, or they can fix it. So they don't get blindsided during inspections.
But you're gonna be under contract with them before.
Right. It just says set up your consultation and you'll get this thing. You'll get this
Basically, you're
offer.
just offering to pay their inspection.
Right, so on here, if this said Rise Realty Group and it said things are heating up in Cascade, I would put, ask us about our our included pre-home inspection.
Right. Yeah, but what do you think about this? I mean, it says listing prices, there's a
Such a
10% discrepancy in sales price. I don't think that's positive advertising, especially it's not heating up.
That was kind of my first thought too. I mean, albeit maybe the homes usually sell through the
Way
2,000,
less.
200,000 or something.
Yeah.
Might be more effective if you use an area.
Well, just assuming that Gem Heights let's say Gem Heights 5 years ago was a $250,000 neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could do that in Norman right now.
Yeah.
Right, average listing price 350, it's average selling price 362.
Sure,
Right,
right,
and
yeah.
it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, now you're thinking. So they have their logo. They picked a photo of the neighborhood. Obviously, this neighborhood probably has a tennis court and pools.
Lots, yeah.
This was created in Command and designs in Command. You can create these types of materials in Command for yourself. You can brand yourself in Command. It's
Do
really
they
awesome.
actually have art for us in
Mhm.
there?
Mhm. Yep. It's all in the details. Just listed, pending. Right? I would do this differently. I would put something on here because it says it's all in the details, and I would be like, but it's like a blank, but it's totally a blank space. So I might put something different in there. I love just listed though, pending, sold, right? You can make this thing. So here's the thing, guys, you don't need a lot. And you can use our brokerage's listings. So there's a lot of real estate agents in this office who said, you can market my listings, I don't care.
When they say that, I was gonna ask that because I wanna do that today.
Right.
Can I don't have to put, this is so-and-so and here's their phone number, I can put
Right.
it, the clicks that get on it, I can follow?
Yeah, you just have to
I'm
say,
doing that today, I was gonna ask you.
Keller Williams Mullinex just
Okay.
listed these properties, boom, boom, boom.
Aren't these
Call
right?
today for a private showing, your face, and then I would put your 3 words at the bottom. About your experience. So I would say something like, call today for a private showing to experience, fun, integrity, demanding, no, I'm just kidding. Right, leadership, let me lead you to the closing table.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
just think about and that's
But
because
whatever
you,
clicks, even though Jennifer Rush
Yeah.
listed it,
because
the
Keller,
clicks that are
okay,
there-
so here's what we need to understand. Actually, Keller Williams Mullinex listed it with our broker, Peggy Wright.
Okay. So even though you're the listing
It's
agent-
Keller Williams Mullinex listings.
Okay.
Now,
But
We-
whoever clicks, I get to call them back and show it to them.
sure, 100%, because you sent the marketing out.
And you get.
You're
commission.
marketing the property, right?
Yeah. that's
Now,
what
if you market it as though, I just listed this property yesterday, and it's not your listing, well, that's dishonest. But Keller Williams, just put Keller Williams Mullinex, new listings. Boom, 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 whatever.
How do you know who likes, is it anyone like?
There's a list, it's Excel spreadsheet, and it's actually shared on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I found it on Facebook. That's-
And I'll just tell you right now, the Webbs are on there, I'm on there, I think Taylor Davis is probably on there, Kyle Davis is probably on there. Like, I think pretty much everybody's on there, because here's the deal. Why wouldn't I want you to attract buyers to my house
Right.
on your dime in your time?
So being brand new,
Yeah,
what price range is going to broadcast the best?
under 200,000.
Under
The average price point in Oklahoma City is like 190.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'd say 150 to
I wanna have the
250.
big O neck here.
Yeah, 150 to 250 is likely.
Okay.
We have a newly listed house in Newcastle. It just got painted and we're doing drone shots tomorrow, and that would be a really good one.
That's super cute. Used to
Yeah,
be
it's
green.
really cute. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
like
commented
10
on
now.
it. It was his house like
Yeah.
5 years ago.
So that, I mean, the pictures of it aren't amazing right now because we don't have the exterior shots. Patrick's new listing is really cute, but it's 465, that Brent Swift farmhouse.
Yeah.
But it's 465, so you're gonna get a lot of hits, but you're not, I mean, it just depends. Yeah, but people click on houses, guys. So all of our best performing ads on Facebook are houses. They're the ones that look like this. Because people want to know what's on the other side of the door, where are the bedrooms at, is there a shower, when was the last time the roof was updated, right? So you're gonna get a lot of questions about properties and houses where you're showcasing something super amazing about the house and it appeals to the masses. So look for something that appeals to the masses if you can. Acreage properties with shops. Oh my God. Go find Aaron Hoffman. He's with Maven Group. He's awesome. He's really good about taking acreage properties with a shop. Aaron, yeah. So when you do, let me know so then I can steal it and get it on it. But no, I mean like they go bananas. They go real bananas.
Shoot, so.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
your thought process. Okay, so here is some ahas. How was your thinking changed today?
The cold call thing was great for me, you know, the idea.
Yeah.
Listen, like.
Because you're making a lot of calls.
I am, and it's kind
Yeah.
of like, I don't know, once you get in the groove, I think
Yeah.
it's easier, but at first it's like, I don't know, these people, they're gonna not want to talk about this, you're forcing it on them.
And then guess who answers the phone? Why are you calling me? You're bugging me. Why are you
Yeah.
forcing stuff down my throat?
Right,
And also not getting hung up on the time of day.
yeah.
I mean, what is there like, I have to call at 9. If I don't call at 9, then the whole day I can't make any calls. Because I miss 9 o'clock.
Listen, sister, I'm a mama.
Because I.
And I had a shelter, we sheltered at home and I was the one that was like, I'll stay at home. And my fiance was the one that was like, he was not around a lot of people. He's the one that's like, I'll go to work, I'll go to Walmart. Thank you. I didn't go to the grocery store for like 4 months. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, let's talk about that. How do you lead generate with a 5-year-old who's bouncing off walls, right? You have a new baby, right? Like when that baby's crying, like what are you gonna do? Well, I mean, that's when you're writing notes and PMing people and texting. You're just not calling, but nap time, dad gets home at 6, I go away. I'm like, you're on, it's you. I'm over here, I'm doing my thing, do not interrupt me. I physically have to leave my house a lot of times to get that. There are times I go sit in my car. And here's another little tip and trick. Hold on, I think I've got through everything. There's like 28 slides, but a lot of these, okay, this is good. This is a really, really, really good goal. 10 contacts added to the database in your call time sessions, 10 conversations a day, right? So if you have a conversation, add in the database, 10 handwritten notes, 10 home previews per week. This, for me, because we have the internet now, I would just look, you can look online. However, I'll give you a little open house tip. Pick your open house on Monday or Tuesday. So look for listings in Keller Williams Mullinex and find out if you can do an open house at one of somebody's listings within the office. Call them on a Monday or Tuesday. Go in the MLS. You can actually, there's a way to search just KW listings, or you can search by agent. Kyle always has the most listings. They're always usually pretty good. He has the most seasoned agents. Not everybody's always doing an open house, okay? So that would be a great place to start. They're wonderful to work with. They have a great brand. People will show up. We always have it. We almost always do. Although Max on my team is an open house bandit. So a lot of times ours are scheduled, but you have the Webbs, the Earharts, Taylor Davis, right? Like there's some big teams in this office who are always carrying a list of listings. Start there because the individual agents are many times doing their own, but teams are not. I've done like one open house in the last 12 months. And it was because I was going to list the house across the street and I wanted to go talk to the neighbor. So I was like, well, sure, I'll be in the area, right? So anyways, and I picked up a buyer. My point is, pick your open house on Monday or Tuesday. Put the sign in the yard of that house next to the for sale sign that says open house. Plant it next to the for sale sign on Tuesday. drive the neighborhood, look on the MLS, find houses for sale like that house in that zip code. Pick a quadrant. What are the other neighborhoods like? Are they similar? Find other houses like that house in similar neighborhoods around town. Look for vacant homes. If there are vacant houses on the list, go walk those houses. Maybe you do that on Wednesday. Tuesday, drive around, get to know the neighborhood, look for sale signs in yards. I'll stop neighborhoods. I just pull over. I pull my app up, the Go MLS app. If you don't have it, download it, Go MLS. And I can see if it's pending, if it's sold, the pictures of it. I can make notes, right? I can get on my computer. I can run a CMA for the area. So what's the average price point? What are homes selling for? How many are pending? How many have sold in the last year? How many are on the market right now that look like this house? And then I print all the best ones, maybe 3 to 4 to 5, whatever, in that surrounding area that are like that house, the open house I'm going to. I print up the MLS sheets. I print up the CMA. So now, let's say on Saturday morning at 10 a.m., I go door knocking. And I door knock the neighborhood and I say, hey, I'm holding an open house. Just wanted to make sure for like the 2 doors next to it, just for safety reasons. I wanted to know if you're going to be home Sunday between 2 and 4. Should I get in an uncomfortable position? Can I come over here and knock on your door? Would that be okay? Thank you. Oh, by the way, while we're talking, would you like to come to my open house? When might you move? How long have you lived here? What do you love about the neighborhood? So I have all these different reasons to knock doors, and I use all different kinds of scripts with different people because not everybody responds to one very well. So if I knocked on your door and said, could I come over here if I'm in like a really bad situation? You'd be like, oh my God, yes, of course, right? And maybe somebody else is like, that's awkward. And I was like, hey, do you know anybody in the neighborhood needs to sell? And they're like, yeah, that guy, get him out, he sucks. Right? So you just never know. So you have to be armed with a lot of different kinds of questions when you're door knocking. But the script really is, especially for open houses, hey, I'm hosting an open house on Sunday, 2 to 4. I'm inviting the neighbors because many times people in the neighborhood want to compare their house to the house that's for sale so we can see how much more yours is worth.
I have a question. When you said that right next to the for sale sign, you put your open house sign.
Right.
Does your open house sign have your phone number? Can it have your phone number? Is that misleading?
I mean, ours does, but
That's not misleading?
I think that's a
It's not
conversation to
getting
have with the
out?
listing agent.
Okay.
We have a metal sign that just says open house or just says open Sunday. But then it has an arrow with our phone number because we do random times. Sometimes we do 11 to 1, sometimes we do 2 to 4. So we just have our phone number, but 9 times out of 10, we're doing our own listing. I have a generic sign that just says open house Sundays to talk to the listing agent.
From
There-
an agent's perspective.
From an agent's
you'd rather
perspective, I wouldn't do
someone-
it. I wouldn't do it.
Don't do it.
I wouldn't. Because you're competing against them for sign calls.
Right, I don't want to be disrespectful.
Right, correct. I wouldn't. So, okay, door knocking. So yeah, so you just have to have a couple different things. Hey, I'm doing an open house. Do you ever go to open houses in your neighborhood? How long have you lived here? Hey, I wanted to write down some details about the neighborhood so I can share them with people who come to my open house. What do you love about the neighborhood? There's all different, you're either gonna have a chatty Cathy on your hands or you're gonna have a slam your door, like, don't talk to me on your hands. It's okay if someone doesn't want to talk to you. Who cares? They're not coming to your open house. If you have a chatty Cathy, chat with them. Just be armed with a few different questions. Hey, oh, okay. If one just crashes and burns, go on to the, oh, well, while I have you. Hey, just curious. Try a few different ones. So some people just door knock with one thing and walk away. But if that one thing didn't work, you missed an opportunity. Same thing with phone calls. You're going to have to try different ways to have a conversation with someone because how you want to talk to somebody and how you want to talk to somebody are different. And the one script isn't going to work with both people. So I might say, blah, 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 and that person's like, and I'm like, so anyways, while I have you, what do you like about the neighborhood? I'm going to share that with my buyers. How long have you lived here? When might you be moving? Are you going to sell anytime soon? Just curious. I love just curious.
Just curious.
Just curious and oh, really, why is that? That's my favorite script. So I go like this, oh, really? Why is that? Right? It's just curious, but a different way. Oh, really? Why is that? So anyone could say anything and you're like, oh, really? Or someone will be like, oh, well, I've decided, this is my favorite one. It was expired. Well, we're going to stay, we're not going to sell. Oh, really? Why is that? Tonality is a big deal. So this is a good goal, you guys, when you do your strategy sessions, when you do your lead gen sessions. I'm going to do my lead gen sessions this day, this time, 2 hours. My goal is 10 contacts in my database, 10 conversations, 10 notes. And I am going to, if you don't go into physically go into houses, preview houses online, get to know neighborhoods, run CMAs. You're a real estate agent. What's going to happen over time if you're previewing 10 houses online every week in specific neighborhoods? You go to an open house, because this is the thing I was talking about, door knocking, stalk the neighborhood, go online, find all the properties, get in the vacant ones. So Sunday, when you walk in and you say, oh my gosh, this doesn't meet my expectations, I'm going to say, oh really? I prettied up 4 other houses in the area that are in the same price point as this one with different features. By the way, 5 houses are pending in the neighborhood, but 3 are available. And I walked all the vacant properties on Wednesday, and I can personally tell you about what they look like on the outside if you'd like to know. Are you someone that just became a lot more hireable? There's a lot of value in that. I also hold consultations for every buyer I work with because making sure that your expectations are met are so important to me. I save all my buyers time and money. Have you sat down and had a consultation with a real estate agent yet? You just weeded out anyone who's ever had a sign-in sheet, made phone calls, and emailed. Because 99.9% of those buyers are going to say, no, I have not. And you're going to say, listen, it's the most valuable thing that you can do prior to owning a home is to have a consultation with an expert. I have a conference room at my office with a big screen TV, and we can pull the MLS up. We can talk about what your needs are and decide if we should work together. I usually do these in the evenings around 5 or on Saturdays at 10. Are you more available in the evening, or would a Saturday morning be better for you? That's it. You're graduated. Okay, but do you see the difference? Okay, so let's review. What's prospecting? We'll go back. What is prospecting?
Lead generation.
Lead.
It's free.
Prospecting is profit. I sound like Oprah. Prospecting is profit. Prospecting is something you're doing. It's a phone call. It's a piece. You're doing it. It's a conversation. It's a sit down time frame in your calendar. It's your JOB. You're a business owner and you work in your business until you hire everybody else that does. Right now, as a business owner and an individual real estate agent, you own every hat until you hire someone to wear a hat, and then you don't have to anymore. But you have to earn that by getting a lot of business. So you have to prospect a lot. The fall of 2016, I was in that lead generation room every day from 9 until about 4 p.m. Call after 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 call. And then I sold 47 houses in 2017. So you can do it. I got my real estate license between 9 and 11 every night. It took me 4 months. So I'm telling you my story not because I think I'm awesome. I actually think that I'm one of like thousands of people in this country that have done something similar. But the reality is you have the time if you need it. It's there for you. You can do it whenever. You can do this whenever you need to do it. If your 10 conversations have to happen between 1 and 3 because that's nap time, or 6 to 8 because that's when your spouse comes home and they're on duty while you go make your 10 conversation calls, you can do it. If you have to get up at 5 a.m. to write handwritten notes, if you have to send text messages at noon on your lunch break, if you have to PM people at 9 o'clock because you just laid down to go to sleep, there is time throughout your day to do all of those things, even if they're not all at one time. And that will be the difference between no money and lots of money. So, okay, so prospecting is doing, marketing is the aesthetics, the brand, the sending it out, the mail, right? It's the pieces that you create and you send out and you hope people call you. The prospecting is you going to them. Okay, you're out. I'm late. We're good.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Any questions?
How much time do you spend a day average on social media?
That's a good
Business
question.
related.
So I think I would have to say, pretty much everything I do on social media is sort of business related. Because
And I have all these random chicken scratch notes. Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
so you just need to know what you're gonna do. Phone calls, notes, text, social. So maybe don't think about time, think about activities. I'm going to comment on 10 photos and PM 5 people. And then maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 2 hours. Get your activities. Yeah, so I would look at it in terms of activities. I did these things. You're welcome.
I was curious, thank you so much for that class. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I was curious, hearing about prospecting and call calls and all that.
Yeah.
Did you find that, how many calls do you think you have to make differently before you, because I found it's really difficult to really get anywhere with someone on call one unless they're just in a place where they're already looking, you know? I mean, not that I've had that much experience yet, but thus far that's been my experience.
Hold on 1 second. Because I think I need to stop more. I'm gonna end.